My room. Oh, what a big bed I have. Oh, lovely. Shillings. That's my money. I'm welcome to take it. A small key. What? The key to Aubrey Reed's office. Why on earth would that be in my room? While we're near a workbench, let's recreate a cure for a migraine. Oh, that man is being attacked out here, but I'm not strong enough to save him. Because that's a level 29 scar. It's nearly double my level. Is this my mother's room?
I cannot enter.
I do have the key to her office. But again, who's left that for me? Avery.
Jonathan, my dear, bring me my glasses. I feel like reading.
Certainly, Mother. I will just nip into your office. There's still the question of how I ingested vampire blood. I'm hoping I won't find out any answers here, frankly. My dear and beloved John, when you receive this letter you will be 35 and I'll be long gone. I feel a little silly, writing you this first letter that you won't read for a few years. I struggled for a long time about how best to write this, until I remembered the puzzle and riddles I invented for you when you were a boy. Oh, how you love to solve those enigmas. Well, I found it would be a good idea to propose to you one final game. It will probably be less rewarding. No candies or exotic treasures for you if you decipher the game. But a greater treasure, perhaps. The truth. This is my only attempt for you to explain why I chose to leave my family without an explanation. Oh! My father left! Wait. No? Yes? No? Yes. No, this is my father then. My father left without explanation. Oh, my father's a vampire of some form. You know what? Let's finish reading the letter before I start grasping at straws. This is my only attempt for you to explain why I chose to leave my family without an explanation. If you want to know why, simply play my little game. It's really up to you, my son. Rest assured that I love you. I promised my family was and still is everything to me. I remember the first time I held you and your sister in my arms, my treasures, my jewels. To see you grow up and play and laugh filled my heart with joy. Every time I went back to our home, I could have killed to protect you, my son, my daughter, my wife. But fate found me in the end, and I had to make a tough decision. The worst was to disappear without a word. I decided to do it anyway, and soon I'll be gone for good. I don't ask for forgiveness, but for understanding. If you want to know more, all you have to do is remember how happy we were back in those days. If you want to find the next message, think green grass and tall trees on sunny Sundays. From your affectionate father, Aubrey Reed.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Was he always a vampire, or did he become a vampire after he had Mary and I? The park. There seems to be a park north of the West End. We will have to investigate the truth. Truly unlikely, but it seems our father is going to be the one to lead us to the answers.
How is your sweet boy?
Now, I've got 3,000 experience, but I do like to get as much as I can before I evolve. So let us go and meet the Ascalon Club and any other individuals we can find out in the streets. Here we are. It is quite an imposing building. Guess I better knock.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
Do you not know
The
I have an
Ascalon
invitation?
Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
Some trouble with the guard, I see. Arthur Pembleton. So,
Been quite a battle here. I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
a spot of lunch have you all had? Can we...
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed.
Clearly does not care for talking to me. I think it might be prudent to have a little scout around. There do seem to be some locked doors, though, which doesn't surprise me. Right. Hello. A good dagger. It's an offhand melee weapon. It's got good blood absorption. Enhanced handling. Curious. Could be a good weapon when I'm struggling to actually feed. So which
It's locked, all right.
door should I be knocking on? I'm going to assume up here. Oh, hello. Right, I think I'd probably be noticed wielding that through the streets. Let's... If I can find any clues in these last moments before I meet them, it would probably go a long way to helping me out. Key of the Ascalon Club's basement. Arthur hasn't announced me, so I suspect they don't yet know I'm here. I think we're going to pay a trip to the basement. If we can figure out which door is which. Is this the back door of the Ascalon Club? Right. Is this a locked gate? 'Cause if so, we're unlocking it. Right, but this is not where I need to be right now. I'm nipping back in. How did the guard even get in here? Did they let them in? Did they invite them in? I suppose that's one way to quickly feed and when you're in a big group. Right. Basement? Basement. Okay. What do we have? Of the recreational use of blood. As Ascalon members, we always tend to respect etiquette. We are, in all ways, members of the good society, sometimes recognized as public figures. We do not find our delight in orgies and bloodbaths like our adversaries assert we do, and if one of us were caught in such a caricatured and immoral act, he would receive the appropriate opprobrium. But what about the blood? What about its recreational use? How could we deny the ecstasy of the vermilion ambrosia it brings us? And with what else could we toast with, as any good fraternity should? To answer this delicate question, the law of conduct inside the club goes as follow. As long as the original mortal vessel is not brought inside our walls, each member is allowed to drink whatever he wants, for his own usage or to share it with friends. Drink what you want. Deal the way you want with the original vessel, but never inside the club. Unless I personally authorize it, on some special occasion, of course. From The Law of Ascalon by Lord Redgrave, founder. I wonder where they picked up Fergal. And it does not seem like they have anything else down here. But I am curious what's beyond that door. But that is locked up tighter than the basement door was. Right, introduction time. Okay, Jonathan, poker face. We are going to have to be very careful about them. They will politic and try to use us for their own ends. We must not let them have their way.
Good evening.
Evening. Gentlemen. What is happening
My
here?
good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here, here.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss.
You're being polite, but I reckon you're seething at the loss of Fergal.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you.
Oh, yes. Such
Please
as...
accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
I must say I admire her.
Yes, she is. I may even say I admire her probity and her kindness. She has helped me since I was reborn.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me.
God, you're too prone to backwards opinions.
Important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why me? Let's be blunt. Why me? Do you not have... what, appropriate econ? And forces to deal with such a problem?
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Ascalon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End. Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
And I would like to get to the point.
Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
Well, I must say, what I know of etiquette is not to discuss one's maker. It is no concern of yours, sir.
It's of no concern of yours.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
I have questions first. I would rather not consent to join, but Lady Ashbury says we could use their influence.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
What does membership imply? What am I obliged to do or not do as a member?
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Do you have any official recognition within the Empire?
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
I imagine you, are the Empire, so to speak. And I'm supposed to obey you.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
How convenient that you're the only one allowed to make demands. What even is the purpose of this club? Would the Empire not be thoroughly fine on its own?
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
William Marshall. You're the founder of this club, but what does William Marshall's methodology have to do with this, so to speak? His point of view.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
The good knight turned you. What happened to the good knight, I wonder? What does it mean to be Ascalon, or what does Ascalon even mean?
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
Just like piercing the heart of a vampire, then. And you've got no issues with me killing Fergal?
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
Like me, I will be readily replaced as necessary, I assume. Well, Lady Ashbury and I, we have a plan. I must join.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country.
Oh, well, this is going to be some weird fraternity ritual, is it?
My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Econ as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall. Speak now.
In front of his
Will
blood.
you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
His blood? Or his ashes?
Then, young Econ, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance.
This isn't going to have any actual hold
I know
over
it's
me, is
awfully
it?
Gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation.
I mean, you can still make new traditions. I hope I don't come to regret this. Oi!
Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
I think I've made a mistake. I truly don't think coming here was a wise decision.
I personally went patrolling last night in the West End.
Seems like none of these gentlemen wish to speak,
This is an
other than Lord
outrage.
Redgrave and
We shall
perhaps the
chase
fellow
these
in the
intruders
chair.
down. I was chased
Isn't
by
it
a
rude to
gigantic
drink another
falcon
vampire's
two
blood
nights
or lick
ago.
it without asking?
Thought it was Fergal coming.
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago, well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Bearer.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Your spies really do get everywhere.
You were spying on me.
Not personally. I rarely leave this building.
It's not the
But once
point.
he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
How did you even know that it was I who killed him?
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous.
What, more
You
spies
earned
watching
my
me?
respect.
I don't really want your respect. Who even was Fergal?
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary.
I wanted to know a little bit
No.
of both, really.
He was a Volcod, all muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed, ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
Understandable. So I assume he was an offshoot of the other canine-like vampires I see roaming the streets. Then you know of Edgar Swansea.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
He does have a bit of an undead fetish. Well, our discoveries were that the Scarl are linked to the epidemic, or at least this new strain of Scarl.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied Scals in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
Is that truly the right course of action? I mean, some Skulls are peaceful. Do they need to go too?
I have met peaceful and wise Scals. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Skulls are hideous, shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Oh, I'll be doing this alone then, shall I? Oh, I'm feeling the presence of my maker. Right. Who are you? You do not strike me as a vampire.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
Uneasy, I must say. I don't like it.
I feel like the newcomer, and I do not like it at all.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals.
Pretty sure the cane is a giveaway too.
I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Oh. So you are a prospective club member. Or are you a club member already?
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
You don't want the gift of eternal life, or if they refuse to offer it to you. Are you ill?
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
You are wearing a glove on one hand. I'm curious about that. What can you tell me about the club?
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Interesting. You're not afraid of vampires, clearly.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
So you asked for membership. You sought membership. You wanted to be a vampire.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Why is that? What do you get out of this? Is the club not secret? Among the social elite?
Is not the nature of this club a secret, shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
Have you become rich and are seeking your fortune purely to pursue the gift of eternal life? Well, how long have you known Lord Redgrave then? What can you tell me about him?
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
You are a loyal man, I must give you that. And you are a famous man.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson.
Dawson and Dawson
The
Munitions.
wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in.
Oh.
To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
So it's not about immortality and saving yourself then. And Sean Hampton's asylum, that was a donation from the Dawson family. But you did own the munitions factory at Dawson and Dawson, the one where the bomb went off from... I forget his name, but... Regardless, what can you tell me about the Guard of Prewen?
What do you know about the Guard of Prewen?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
No, it's not. Excuse you. They're murdering people in the streets. People, not just Skull, not just vampires. People. They are our enemies.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Oh, so you don't care. You're on no one's side so long as you get to resolve the situation in your eyes. And what, would you finance them and help them?
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
So what? Use the vampires to get rid of the Skull, then use the guards to get rid of the Econs? How's the situation in the West End?
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
You are a tight-lipped chap. You know money isn't the answer to all our prayers. It might get things moving, but it itself is not the answer.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan?
All that is essential.
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable,
wall.
unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
No, okay, you're a lunatic. That's a really stupid and dangerous idea, because it's not going to work. They'll just go over the wall.
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Not if we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear.
Oh, you are not a nice man.
A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why
That you
do
are.
care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns?
Yeah, I'm not a
Decisiveness
sociopath.
is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
A wall is such a stupid, pointless idea. Well, I hate all of them. I don't think there's going to be anything I enjoy about this club. I'm going to make any new friends, and I'm just going to end up with loads more work to do.